Good morning. Welcome to Sports Desk live on Comcast Channel 26, also streamed on Facebook. I'm your host, Ed Nunez, along with our producer, Alden Iwani. Our very special guest today is Valencia Jaguars head football coach, LeDarrius Cage. His team is 7-3 overall and 4-2 in district. And this Saturday, they'll take on the Moriarty Pinos in Valencia at 1 p.m., an 8 seed versus an 11 seed. Coach Cage, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You know, Coach, man, I love the gear, by the way. Valencia, you got the whole thing, man. You're ready to go.
Yes, sir.
You know what? They always somebody asked Bobby Knight about that, and Bobby Knight's like, I don't know what that means. What does that mean? You know, but you could tell you got that face on and just that seriousness, preparation face. You know, because you mentioned, Coach, your team made the playoffs last year as a 12. You've got a home game this Saturday, and your team is 7-3 and 4-2. Moriarty's lost 3 of their last 4, but they've got a kid that's got 13 sacks. We'll talk about him later. I'm sure you know all about him. Moriarty's a ground and pound team. It's exciting though. I think anytime you make the playoffs, and it's going to be Saturday at 1. We talked about fall football, right? It's going to be a nice day. Talk a little bit about the matchup with Moriarty.
They're a really good program. We were talking about their ground and pound game, and they're very bought into their system, right? When you run a system like that, you have to make sure everybody's on the same page and make sure everyone's bought in and everyone does their job, and they do a really good job of that. As far as us, we're just gonna have to really stay disciplined. We're gonna have to pursue. We're gonna have to tackle well, and try to limit them on the ground and try to take away things that they really want to do, just based on way we line up and kind of our personnel packages.
You know, Coach, you mentioned they've been running that single wing, double wing. They've been running it for years. It's a culture. So you've got to stay disciplined on defense, play the gaps, do whatever. And you mentioned tackle. If you don't tackle, it's no secret what they're doing. It's almost like Herman Boone. I've got 5 plays, and, this is what I run, and this is what they do. And you know what they do, and they've been doing it. As you mentioned, you said they came up and played your middle school team, and they did it at that level. They run it all the way through, and it's a program that has been doing that for a long time. So it's definitely a challenge for your Jaguars, but you've got to be pretty happy about the way the season ended for Valencia and getting an 8 seed and getting a home game and building that program to where step at a time.
I agree. We haven't had a home playoff game at Valencia in a while. I think the last time we had one, I wasn't here, but it was I think it was in 2021. And I think they took on Taos that year. I think they beat Taos, and then I think they moved on to the next round. Um, but it's really nice for our community, and because normally, like you said, we're usually traveling if we do make the playoffs. But now being able to do this at home, our fans have been amazing this year. We've had some great turnouts to our games, and I think that's given us an advantage. We played really well at home, so I'm really happy about that.
It's got it. Plus, anytime the home crowd and the band is out there, family, community, you got community support out there. You've got good community support. That's got to. I just get chills even thinking about it because playoffs are a little bit different. Every game is you want to win, but now it's win and advance or win and go home. Of course, Bloomfield ranked number 1. They've been playing some. Coach Kovacs does a great job out there. I covered them a couple years ago in the state championship when they beat Silver, and that was a heck of a game. And Coach Kovacs just does a wonderful job out there. Coach, I want to go over a little bit of your background. We mentioned you played at Los Lunas High School. We were talking about it before the show, and also New Mexico Military and Delta State. You were the defensive backs coach at Valencia from 2016 to 2018. Also the defensive coordinator at Valencia from 2018 to 2021 at Cleveland High School, JV head coach and varsity cornerbacks coach from 2021 to 2023, where Cleveland won 2 state championships there, and I think that was under Coach Garza. Was it under Coach? Was Heath there? Coach Ridenauer there too?
Yeah, so Ridenauer was there my first year, and he actually gave me my first opportunity over there at Cleveland. And like you mentioned, I did a lot of defensive work, and I've always kind of been a defensive guy throughout my entire time playing and coaching football. And whenever I went to Cleveland, they stuck me on offense, so it was a whole new world for me. And just being able to sit in the office and listen to those guys and watch them game plan and how to attack defenses really opened up my mind a lot. And I was able to start calling plays and really learn um, just different techniques and strategies on how to attack certain defenses. And after Heath left, he went to UNM and Garza took over. We made a couple switches on our program, and I was able to move over to the defensive side, and I was getting back into my element of working with the defensive backs, working with the corners, and helping out secondary as much as I could. So, yeah, first year I was there with Ridenhour as the head coach, and then the second year with Garza. And fortunately, we got 2 state championships both years I was there.
They've Cleveland after a slow start. I think a lot of people were penciling in La Cueva versus Centennial, but don't sleep on Cleveland, man. Don't
Right.
sleep on Cleveland. They're those are the top three teams in 6A, and I think everybody else. No knock on any other Rio Ranchos or Volcano Vista. Everybody, Las Cruces, they're a tier below. Those teams are very dominant, especially at the line of scrimmage. You know those games are won in the trenches there, man, and those teams there have some very good offensive lines. But what I wanted to ask you, I love Coach Ridenhour. He's a great guy. He's a good man. Coach Garza is a great coach. And you learn on both sides, man. You mentioned you were a defensive guy, then you got in the huddle with Coach Ridenhour, who knows a lot about, attacking defenses. You mentioned that. What is it you learn from both of them? Because those are really good coaches to learn from. What is it you learn from both of them?
Just really schemes is one of the first things I learned. But I think what really helped me become a head coach was when I interviewed for that job. Me and Ridenhour, we sat down, we talked, and I told him that my ultimate goal was to be a head coach around my own program. And so he told me he would do everything in his power to help me make that happen. And fortunately, we ended up getting it done. But what I really took from Cleveland as a whole is just a formula for success. So, like, there's a lot of great coaches in the state. A lot of us know football, right? I think a lot of us kind of struggle with the program building, especially getting programs, that are struggling programs and being able to pick those up. And so, fortunately, me being here at Valencia from 2016 to 2021, before I went to Cleveland, I was able to kind of see where we were lacking and things that I guess we needed to work on as a program and how to get buy-in from our players and our community to be able to get our football program rolling again. And so just it wasn't necessarily just football stuff that I took away from Cleveland. It was more so just culture. And it was a shock for me when I went out there. Um, just seeing how much those guys were bought into the process and they all had one common goal. They all knew what they wanted. They wanted to be the best. They wanted to win a state championship. And they did everything necessary to make it happen. And so seeing those guys get it done with, 200 something players in your program, whatever it is, and then being able to come here where we only have maybe 50, 60 guys in our program, I know we can start doing that as well. So um, I was fortunate when I came back because I knew exactly what Valencia needed when I left, right? So I just needed to figure out which ways to how to shift our program and really again get the buy-in and um I wanted our guys to understand that success isn't just about the wins and losses. We want to make sure we graduate. We want to make sure we're doing things right in the classroom, and all those little things really add up to a successful program, right? So I think those are the things that are really behind the scenes that really helped us out this year was we had some really clear-cut standards for the program. I had a really good staff, and we all are on the same page, and I think we're definitely trending in the right direction.
You mentioned building that program, and it's about a culture. And you mentioned that in Coach Garza and Coach Ridenhour. You also were you coached by Jeff Lynn, the Roswell head coach.
Right.
And what kind of success he's coached in the Lone Star, won several championships at Roswell High School. All the respect in the world for that guy. I told you I had him on the show about a year ago, and just a good man, a good person. What is it you learn from him? Because again, this guy's at the top of his game every single year. What is it you learn from him?
From him, I learned just really just stay patient. I met him when I was 17 years old. I was, 5'6", 140-pound freshman walking into NIMI thinking I'm going to play, seeing all these other guys that are 6'2", 185 pounds that are playing my position, right? And but he really always demanded the best out of his players. And being at New Mexico Military Institute just in general, it teaches you structure, it teaches you discipline, and so like we just added those to our football program, and you know, after my first season, I became a starter, and you know, I was undersized and all of that, but you know, he believed in my abilities, and I trusted his system. And coming out of high school, I didn't have any offers at all. And coming out of NIMI, I had about 16 offers. You know, I had grown so much as a player and as a man that I owe a lot of that to Coach Lynn. And even to this day, you know, we meet every day, or I'm sorry, every year at the coaches clinic, the annual coaches clinic. I always meet up with him. We always talk. I have his number. He has my number. I called him earlier this season because I needed some advice from him around week 2. You know, we had lost to Gadsden, a really good team, and things weren't going well with the program. And I just called him up for some advice, and he gave me some great advice. Again, just stay patient, keep doing what you're doing. And that really helped me out. You know, I was struggling during that time with a lot of pressure, and he was able to help me out. And, you know, I'm always grateful for that guy. And, you know, one of these days, who knows, maybe we can get together and we can do some work together, which would be awesome.
You know what, Coach, if you think about it, the mentors you've had, Coach Garza, Coach Ridenauer, Coach Lynn, man, you struck it rich. And, you know, and someday, and I'm sure you're even doing it, you'll pay it forward because that's important, right? These guys that mentor to you, and they're good people. Every single one of those guys are top notch. When I
Yes.
talked to Coach Lynn, I couldn't get enough of talking to him. I really couldn't, because not only I know he's a great coach, I felt that he was a really good person. And not everybody, you can't say that about everybody. You really can't, man. You know, but that guy there, that he wanted to give back to you, and well, I bet he just sees you succeed and is so, you know, happy about it, because you know, trees grow. You know, the branches grow, and the Coach Ridenauer is growing some branches. Coach Garza and Coach Lynn, and those guys are at the top of their games, top of
Yep.
their games, man.